Smart men attract women by refusing these four things. Guys, pay attention. Most men think attracting a woman is about doing more, giving more, saying more, spending more. They think if they just add enough, if they just show up enough, if they just try hard enough, she will eventually feel what they want her to feel. She will eventually choose them. She will eventually commit and stay and be everything they hoped she would be. But smart men know something different. Smart men understand that attraction is not always built by what you add. Sometimes, most times, it is built by what you refuse, what you will not accept, what you will not do, what you will not become just to keep a woman comfortable. And those refusals, those quiet, firm, unshakable refusals, are what separate the men women deeply want from the men women casually settle for. Today, I want to show you the 4 things smart men refuse that make women deeply and genuinely attracted to them. Not surface-level attraction, not temporary attraction, the kind that stays, the kind that grows, the kind she cannot explain to her friends but cannot walk away from either. And before we get into it, if this is already making sense to you, hit that thumbs up button right now. It costs you nothing, and it helps this reach more men who need to hear this today. And if you are serious about becoming the kind of man women cannot ignore and cannot leave, I have put together something special for you. It is called Magnetic Masculinity, a complete guide to building the presence, the confidence, and the standards that make attraction completely effortless. The link is in the description. Go grab it right now before you watch another video. Now let us get into it. Number 1. They refuse to chase. A smart man understands one of the most fundamental truths about attraction. You cannot chase your way into someone's genuine feelings. You cannot text your way there. You cannot call your way there. You cannot show up uninvited enough times to manufacture real desire in someone who is not already feeling it. And yet most men chase. They chase because they think effort equals interest. They think the more they do, the more she will feel. They think consistency means calling every day, texting every morning, always being the first one to reach out, always being the one to keep the connection alive. But here is what that chasing communicates to her at a subconscious level. It tells her that you are more invested than she is. It tells her that you need this more than she does. It tells her that the power in this dynamic sits entirely with her. And once she feels that imbalance, once she knows she has all the power, attraction begins to fade. Because attraction cannot live where there is no tension. And there is no tension when one person is doing all the chasing and the other is doing all the choosing. A smart man refuses to chase, not because he does not care, not because he is playing games, but because he knows his worth. He knows that a woman who is genuinely interested will show it. She will reach out. She will make time. She will give him reasons to stay without him having to beg for them. And if she is not doing those things, he does not chase harder. He steps back. He lets the silence speak. He lets his absence do what his presence could not. And very often, that is when she wakes up. That is when she starts reaching out. That is when the dynamic shifts in his favor without him having to do a single extra thing. You cannot force genuine attraction, but you can create the conditions for it by refusing to chase what should be coming to you freely. Number 2. They refuse to lose themselves trying to keep her. This is the one that destroys more good men than almost anything else. And it happens so gradually that most men do not even realize it is happening until they look in the mirror one day and do not recognize who they have become. It starts small. She does not like one of his hobbies, so he quietly drops it. She makes a comment about his friends, so he starts spending less time with them. She gets uncomfortable when he has opinions that differ from hers, so he starts agreeing more. She rewards him when he bends and withdraws when he does not. So slowly, unconsciously, he bends more and more until bending becomes his default. And he thinks he is being a good partner. He thinks he is compromising. He thinks he is showing love by adjusting himself to fit her comfort. But what he is actually doing is disappearing. And the man she was attracted to in the beginning, the man with his own opinions, his own hobbies, his own circle, his own way of seeing the world, that man is gone, replaced by a version of himself that was designed to keep her happy. And here is the painful irony. The moment he becomes that version, she loses attraction for him. Because she was never attracted to a man who would become whatever she needed. She was attracted to a man who was fully, unapologetically himself, and now that man is gone. A smart man refuses to lose himself trying to keep her. He loves fully. He gives generously. He compromises where compromise is healthy and mutual. But he never surrenders who he is. His values, his identity, his standards, his sense of self, those are non-negotiable. Not because he is selfish, but because a man without a self has nothing real to offer. And she knows it even if she cannot articulate it. Stay yourself. Completely and unapologetically, because the version of you she fell for was the real you, and the only way to keep her genuinely attracted is to keep being him. Number 3, they refuse to be emotionally manipulated. Every man in a relationship will eventually encounter this. She goes quiet without explanation. She gives you the silent treatment for something you do not fully understand. She cries at a moment that feels strategically timed. She pulls back her warmth and affection, the moment you do not give her what she wants. She creates an emotional atmosphere that makes you feel like the only way to restore peace is to give in, to agree, to apologize even when you know you are not wrong. And most men give in. Not because they agree, but because the emotional discomfort of her withdrawal is too much to sit with. Because they would rather surrender their position than endure her coldness. Because her approval has become something they cannot function without. And every time they give in, every time they let her emotional state override their own judgment, they hand her a tool that says, this works on him. If I want something from this man, all I need to do is create enough emotional pressure and he will fold. A smart man refuses to be emotionally manipulated. Not by shutting down, not by becoming cold or cruel, but by staying grounded in himself when the emotional weather around him changes. When she goes silent, he does not panic. He does not chase her back to warmth with apologies he does not mean. He stays calm, he stays steady. He gives her space to feel what she feels without making her feelings his emergency. Because here is the truth. A woman does not respect a man she can move with her moods. She may enjoy the control in the moment, but deep down she is looking for a man she cannot shake. A man whose sense of self does not crumble the moment she withdraws her approval. A man who loves her, but does not need her approval to feel okay about himself. That man, the one who stays grounded when she tries to move him, is the man she respects most. The man she trusts most. The man she is most deeply attracted to. Because his stability tells her something nothing else can. It tells her that he is real. That his love is a choice, not a dependency. And love that is chosen freely is always worth more than love that is given out of fear. Stay grounded. Stay calm. Refuse to let her emotional state become your instruction manual. Number 4. They refuse to settle for a connection that only works on her terms. This is the final refusal, and in many ways, it is the most powerful one. Because it requires the thing that is hardest for most men to truly hold on to, the genuine willingness to walk away. Most men in a relationship where the effort is unbalanced, where the investment is unequal, where she is comfortable and he is working overtime just to maintain something that should be mutual, most men in that situation stay. They stay and they complain. They stay and they hint. They stay and they hope she will eventually match their energy if they just hold on a little longer, if they just give a little more, if they just wait a little longer. But she does not. Because she does not have to. Because he has shown her through his staying that he will accept this, that this is enough for him, that he would rather have her on her terms than not have her at all. And as long as that is the message he is sending, nothing changes. A smart man refuses to accept a connection that only works on her terms. He communicates what he needs. He expresses what a real, mutual, balanced connection looks like to him. He gives her the opportunity to meet him there. But if she does not, if she shows him through her actions that she is comfortable with imbalance, comfortable with him giving more and her giving less, he does not beg. He does not nag. He does not give an ultimatum in anger. He walks away, quietly, with dignity, without drama, and without looking back. And that walk, that calm, dignified exit from something that was not serving him, does two things. If she genuinely values him, it wakes her up. It makes her realize what she was taking for granted. It makes her reach out. It makes her show up differently because now she has felt what losing him actually feels like. And if she does not reach out, then he has his answer. And he can move forward knowing he chose himself. Knowing he refused to settle. Knowing he respected himself enough to walk away from less than he deserved. Either way, he wins. Because the man who refuses to settle always ends up exactly where he should be. Now here is what I need you to take away from everything I just shared with you today. Smart men do not attract women by doing more. They attract women by refusing certain things that weak men quietly accept every single day. They refuse to chase. They refuse to lose themselves. They refuse to be emotionally manipulated. They refuse to settle for a connection that only works on her terms. And those refusals are not acts of coldness. They are not games. They are not cruelty. They are self-respect made visible. They are the clearest possible signal that this man knows his worth and will not compromise it for anyone. And when a woman encounters that, when she encounters a man who refuses in all the right places, something happens in her that she cannot fully control. She is drawn to him. She respects him. She wants to be chosen by him. Because being chosen by a man who could walk away means something. Being valued by a man with standards means something. Being with a man who will not lose himself for anyone means you have something real. Something rare. Something worth holding on to. Be that man. Refuse what needs to be refused. And watch what starts coming toward you. Thank you so much for watching. If this hit home for you today, please subscribe for more. Turn on the bell notification so you never miss an upload. Share this with a man who needs to hear this right now. Thanks for your time. For